Today is Sunday, November the 14th. The title of this devotional is Hatred Reveals What Love Forgives. Now, our scripture reading is Proverbs chapter 10. I invite you to read throughout that chapter, Proverbs chapter 10. However, this devotional is really going to be taken from only 3 verses. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 12, Proverbs chapter 10, verse 31 and 32. Now, let's begin with Proverbs chapter 10, verse 12. I've titled this little mini devotional, Hatred Exploits What Love Conceals. Solomon, writing to his son, writes these words, Proverbs 10 and verse 12, hatred, an attitude that would detest or despise someone else. Hatred stirs up strife. It's always stirring up strife, discord, contention. But love, on the other hand, covereth, it conceals all sins, all transgressions, all guilt. Have you ever wondered why there is so much strife and discord in the world? We might even add in your family, in the church. Why is there so much strife and discord? Well, Solomon, being the man of wisdom that he was, diagnosed the root cause of a pervasive, contentious spirit, and he stated simply, hatred stirreth up strifes. To state the same in a different way, hatred, not love, disrupts, denigrates, damages, and devastates all whose life it touches. Hatred provokes strife in marriages and families, friendships, and yes, even in congregations. Paul identified pride as the root cause of envy and strife in his letter to Timothy in 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 4. John wrote concerning Diotrephes, who was a cause of grief and source of discord in the early church. Diotrephes, who loveth to have the preeminence, that is, he's ambitious, he's always striving to be first among them, receiveth us not. Now, I know from all my years in ministry that believers are very good about dressing up strife in a garb of religious piety. However, the presence of unresolved conflict is indicative of an unforgiving spirit. Such a spirit, if unchecked, will become antagonistic, destroy friendships, families, and fellowships. Well, Proverbs 10 and verse 12 has a second principle, and it is that love covereth all sins. Now, this is biblical love. Biblical love does not overlook sin, for that would contradict the ways of the Lord and Scriptures. After all, believers are commanded to lovingly and meekly address sin in each other's life. And so what does it mean, love covereth all sins? Well, it is this. A sincere, genuine love longs to forgive and will not unnecessarily expose the sins, failures, and shortcomings of the one who is loved. Biblical, you see, Christ-like love is long-suffering, kind, gracious, yes, and forgiving. Now, a closing thought to this little devotional. In his letter to believers in the first century, Peter wrote, and above all things have fervent charity, self-sacrificing love among yourselves, for charity shall cover, forgive, overlook the multitude of sins, that is, personal offenses. You and I should not be surprised that hatred stirs up strife. However, we should be concerned that some who profess to love others readily entertain and expose their failures. Hatred reveals what love conceals. Hatred exploits what love forgives. I ask you as I close this brief devotional, are you loving or do you hate? Do you have strife in your heart towards someone else, a spirit of contentiousness? Or you might dress it up in piety and talk about how you've prayed for someone, how you care for someone. But if you are unwilling to deal with sin in a biblical, loving manner, you have a rebellious, contentious spirit, and you should confess it as exactly what it is. Hatred reveals what love conceals. Hatred exploits what love forgives. God bless you. There will be a second devotional that will follow this one. Bye-bye.